into the ring, the bell's about to chime. TurnBuckle Talk, we're here to shine. Flagship on the airwaves, leading the pack. Breaking news, reviews, we've got your back. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring stories that you can't refuse. TurnBuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat. From AEW to WWE, we cover it all from A to Z. Interviews, insights, and match reviews. KECH Wrestling News, we've got the clues. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring the stories that you can't refuse. TurnBuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat.
We live in a world where we have all the educational shows. Whether you're, say, a Miss Rachel, whether you're a Barney, or whether you're Gangrel or Rusev, we all know learning your ABCs before counting those 1, 2, 3s are always important for a proper education. My name's Chris Parrish, alongside OM Dynamic and Chris Best. We bring you another amazing edition of TurnBuckle Talk. First things first, welcome everyone who are joining us on Facebook, YouTube, KECH, and Twitch. But boys, how are we doing today?
I'm all right. A little bit tired, but I'm all right, and I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
Awesome. Chris Best, how are you doing? Looks like we're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties on his side. Are you with us? All right. Well,
yeah, I'm lagging. I lagged out.
Awesome. Well, how are you doing? As we are off to a wonderful start already.
Well, I'm doing all right. I got a big grin on my face. So it's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Awesome stuff. Well, let's get started right away as we get to our first topic of the evening. We call this Behind the Curtain. And this was an idea that I had that maybe the Godfather might pick up again as we go on. But it's a collection of a lot of stories that happen away from the ring. We all know that these superstars on our screens are real human beings and they do real human things. As we know, Io Sky and her fiance, now we know as Naraku in NXT, recently tied the knot. Bianca Belair and Montez Ford recently announced they were having a baby, and they found out it was a baby boy. And then Piper Niven is undergoing anterior discectomy, which is to relieve pain from her nerves and spinal cord. I'm going to open this up to anyone. What did you guys know about these stories, and what caught your eyes?
Really, for me, it was Piper Niven. And that is absolutely huge that she is getting that pressure relief and that surgery. We do miss Piper and we want her presence back. We know that this is still potentially a career-threatening injury. But the fact that she is in there, yes, she is under the knife, and yes, it's going to be a long time before we can get her back on our screens, whether it's in WWE or somewhere else, depending on the situation. Nothing but the best. I did not see the videos of Montez and Bianca showing the gender reveal. I know it was out there. And, I mean, congratulations to Naraku and Io Sky.
Yeah, let me clear this up. The anterior cervical discectomy, which is what Piper Niven went through is actually the removal of a damaged or herniated disc in the neck. So it's some pretty serious surgery. I wish nothing but the best for Piper. I want to see her back in the ring. I know now it's going to be a little bit longer. Probably we're looking at close to another year. We're not going to see her in the ring, but it's good to see that she is on that road to recover. She's letting her fans know what's going on with her, and I appreciate that out of her. And I want nothing more but for her to recover from that. I too did not get to watch the Montez Ford and Bianca Belair announcement, but I am just incredibly elated for them. I'm still running on the high when Bianca announced the pregnancy at WrestleMania, and to know that they're having a boy, that's got to be up. That's got to make Montez Ford extremely happy, and maybe, just maybe, we see another wrestling dynasty being formed, maybe a brand new one being formed there. And when it comes to Io Sky and Evil or Naraku being married, we know that they've been engaged for the better part of the last like 7-8 years, and it kind of felt like when we knew Naraku was coming over to WWE, I kind of had that feeling that they were going to get married the moment he came to the States, because with Io working in the States, Naraku working in Japan, they rarely got to see each other, and that warms my heart knowing that's what happened with the two of them.
Yeah, one of the big things that I had heard was, yes, they were engaged. I had also heard that it was her former fiance and this, that, and the other thing. We now know that, yes, it was a pure marriage, and I am thrilled for them. Congratulations to Montez and Bianca on having a baby boy. And you touched on it there. Maybe we do get that new wrestling dynasty. I know he's got kids from a previous marriage. I wonder, do they team up with Corey Graves' kids if they get into the wrestling?
Maybe. But Parrish, what do you think of everything?
Yeah, I mean, we all know just the travel distance that really plagues the superstar, whether it's Io Sky's partners in Asuka and Kairi Sane. We all know that sometimes being far away from home really does a lot of damage, not only to your self-esteem, your anxiety levels, but also the way you look at your profession, as we've seen Finn Balor explain on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. So just the simplicity of having your spouse, your partner with you, and having Naraku, who is now signed to WWE, involved in NXT, being a part of that company with Io, at the very least, now they get to live together. They might not be traveling together, but they do have a little bit more familiarity with each other. They can at least be around each other more often. And that just really improves the mental status of both superstars. So the fact that not only they were able to fight through that and remain engaged, but now get married, that's just a testament to not just their loyalty, but who they are as human beings. And for that, it's just an amazing thing to see that they kept it together and fought with each other and didn't look at it as a battle that tore them apart, but a battle that grew them closer together.
Yeah. I mean,
and then as you saw with the reveal, and I did see it and it warmed my heart. Obviously, it's no secret that I just had a baby girl, and it's just fantastic to see other people have those lives. We all know that Becky Lynch has gone on the record saying she may want to have another one at some point as well. And we forget that these superstars are human beings as well. And I know Bianca Belair has not been in the ring since over a year ago, as she lost in a triple threat for the WWE Women's World Title. But then finding out you're pregnant, finding out that not only everything is healthy, but you find out what the gender is, couldn't be any more happier with them. And as much as a fan, we want to see Bianca Belair back in the ring. We're also very happy that she's happy and that she's in a good spot, and she's going to learn She's going to teach maybe her son just how to avoid a hair whip in the future. That could be a nice little caveat, but also for Montez Ford, I mean, if anybody out there has a son, you're going to be just super elated as a father. It's just always fun to show another boy, just your boy, the stupid things you do as a father.
You know, we often look at these superstars, and you know, even as fans, we do forget at times that they are human, and we forget about the families who are really the unsung heroes, whether they're back at home. And you look at a guy like AJ Styles, who was on the road for so many years, who hung it up earlier this year to be at home and get those family moments. So you forget about those unsung heroes in the back, whether it's the wives, the girlfriends, the husbands, the partners, the kids, who are there keeping that family and that glue together. Because there's a big difference between having that face-to-face time and FaceTime.
Yeah.
Yeah, Triple H painted a very clear picture of that in season 1 of Tough Enough. If you guys remember the scene where he showed up and he comes into the ring and he tells everybody, you're on that road 300 days out of the year. What's the wife doing? Don't know. What are the kids doing? Don't know. But when you come home from being off the road, you've got to be the super parent to those kids. You've got to be the super husband, the super wife to your spouse. And that's the reality of what it's like to be on the road with these guys day in, day out.
Yeah, and again, like you both said it earlier about Piper Niven, it absolutely is unfortunate to see that this is what's happening to her body, but at the same time, finding the time to do something about it. Can it be career ending? Absolutely. Will it be? Time will tell. But at the very least, and this is just a thankful that WWE is a company that does help you with the medicals, gives you the best of the best. Not only can she get that surgery to see if her career is worth extending, but more importantly, you have that surgery to give you a better quality of life as well. And I think that's just the one thing that just as a fan, but as a human being, I'm just very excited and hopeful that that's going to turn out in a positive way for her.
Yeah, with Piper, we had heard that she was backstage a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how true that is, but I have seen pictures, and due to everything, she has lost a ton of weight and looks very, very good and very, very healthy. And I am just so proud of her, and I want her to keep pushing through, Piper, and get back to us real soon.
Yeah. And that's just, I think that's a testament everybody from TurnBuckle Studios has as well. And even though not a lot of people know about this, we go from one story to another, and we almost can transition this from a Montez Ford to a Joe Hendry, as back before the show, OM Dynamic, you educated us about Montez Ford and his musical background. We now know that Joe Hendry is recording a WWE album. And what we do know is that this is something that is going to be multiple tracks. It's going to be released in the summer. And one little piece that I found very intriguing is that he started the process by recording in New York. He had then had a very similar studio built in his house, so he could then just transfer from his place to New York without having to always go there. So there is a level of commitment to this as well. I'm going to start off with Chris Best because, well, let's face it, if you don't know by now, he believes just about more than anybody. But what did you take out of this when you found out Joe Hendry was recording an album?
I found out through the Chris Van Vliet podcast that he recently did. He announced that it is on the way, and I just got to say, I'm going to be first in line to download or buy that album when it comes out. Um, I could not be more excited for Joe Hendry for doing this, because this is something I've said that many years ago that he should have been doing, that he should have at least put out an album. And he actually does have recordings of all the songs that he did on Spotify. And he's actually compiled like all his best ones into an album on Spotify there as well. So he's already got that experience with recording music. I can't wait. I hope it's just as good as when Elias put out his album a couple years ago.
Where I'm wondering is it going to be a bunch of songs that he has performed in not just NXT, but throughout his wrestling career? Or is this going to be Joe Hendry originals? Like, are we going to get Fire Logan Paul on this? Or is this going to be something completely away from wrestling?
Well, Fire Logan Paul is already on Spotify.
Yes. It will be a part of the album as well, but it will be Joe Hendry original tracks as well. Okay. That was something that in the article I read, even though, yes, you were right, Chris Van Vliet did have Joe Hendry on, and that's where this whole thing we all found this out. It will be Joe Hendry original tracks, and I don't think it's from the past. I think he will be writing new stuff, and from what I read, he said that it just happened to be proper timing with the Logan Paul, and that's why they went there with that one at that time. Yeah. So I'm very intrigued on this. I think it's really cool. We all remembered the original, the WWE album, where we had multiple wrestlers and performers with tracks. I know that there was times before as well. Yes. But OM Dynamic, I want to kind of throw this back to you, because before this, you said Montez Ford also had his own musical kind of stuff. We know that guys like R-Truth, who recently came out with a country album. Yeah. What does this open up in terms of opportunities for other superstars, not just Joe Hendry, but others, about recording music with WWE music as Joe Hendry is doing?
Well, I think this is very intriguing. I think this goes way back to John Cena and the You Can't See Me album, or the My Time Is Now album, whatever it was. And not a bad album. And I'm not a hip hop guy, but it was not a bad album. And yes, Joe Hendry, I am hoping you do a cover of Bad Man. But yeah, Montez Ford also has a couple of albums out and has a new project in the works. But I think this might be that Paradigm Talent Agency really helping them broaden their horizons. We've seen guys get into things like whiskey. We've seen WWE Studios. So I think there is a lot there. And this is just allowing them to explore that more creative aspect outside of the ring. We also saw Liv Morgan do a music video and release her own brand new theme music.
I kind of think that we could be going back to the days in the 80s where the wrestlers used to sing their theme songs as they came to the ring. And I mean, that's Pile Driver was the first album where they had wrestlers, or sorry, the second album where the wrestlers recorded all their own theme songs. The wrestling album was the very first one that they did that all. But no, this is a very exciting opportunity, and I'm not just looking forward to Joe Hendry, but I'm now wanting to see if other wrestlers have those musical chops to do it.
Yeah.
And we know. So go ahead.
I was going to say I just touched on Liv Morgan. Is that something she wants to do? We also know it's something that Mercedes Moné has expressed an interest in, is doing an album. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very interesting to see how much they expand these musical horizons. And do they tour after this? I mean, the biggest example of a wrestler doing music, Chris Jericho, Fozzy. And look at how well he has parlayed that.
Yeah, the one thing we know is just how impactful music is to the wrestling business. And as you mentioned, Liv Morgan, Joe Hendry, R-Truth, and as Chris Best, you're talking about people, right, are doing their own music now. We have already right there 3 off the top of our dome, knowing that they sing their own songs. And I'm sure there are others, but it's just kind of cool to see. And I'm very intrigued to see what collaborations from outside artists, as we know we've seen the Jelly Rolls come in and perform in WWE. Will he collaborate from a music standpoint with anybody in WWE? We know Sexy Red, Bubba Duke's favorite artist, has done a lot of crossover to NXT. So it'll be very intriguing to see kind of just who comes back and forth, and if this WWE music thing does launch into a different way, what other names we can see rise.
Yeah, and I mean, you just touched on Jelly Roll, and I mean how active he is.
And
what
right
about
now,
a guy like? What about a guy like Post Malone, who is very active
and right now over on SmackDown? Right now over on SmackDown, who's Trick's manager? Little Yachty.
Yeah, and mention Post Malone. He's always at the shows. We always see him on Netflix. We can't always forget one of the biggest artists going around in Big Bunny, who has tipped his toes in his little hoppers in WWE. But
and let's not forget the mainstream bands like that have performed on WWE shows. Do you get them bringing these guys in to do a track on their album?
Just makes me wish WWE does the right thing and gets a certain Mr. Jim Johnson back to run WWE music. I think we can agree that would be best for business. But before we get to our next topic, we do want to let everybody know TurnBuckleStudios.org is our official webpage. You might have heard us talk about it, but what you also know is that we have a plethora of stuff to do, and a couple of those things are our shop powered by Redbubble at TurnBuckleStudios.org/shop, as well as joining the team and becoming a member of the TurnBuckle affiliation program through our join button. So here's a couple of ads just to showcase those 2 options right now.
The TurnBuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then TurnBuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out TurnBuckleStudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The TurnBuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at TurnBuckleStudios.org.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. TurnBuckleStudios.org is your home for the TurnBuckle affiliation program. And we do want you to join us. So if you want your break in podcasting content creation or to help us behind the scenes, hit that join button. Send us your creds. Tell us how you can help us, how we can help you. And as Mr. Parrish alluded to, while you're there, head over to our shop powered by Redbubble. Support your favorite shows and your favorite podcasters. Wear what we wear. And all of those proceeds come back into our studios to bring you a better experience. All of that and more at TurnBuckleStudios.org.
Awesome. And the one thing I want to do add is that if you go to our shop, you pick up something that is related to Turnbuckle Talk, let us know. and we'll make sure that we not only give you a free shout out, but we just might use that photo and put it on our next shop ad. Our next topic is a very intriguing one. In fact, it's a strategic one, as we found out that MLW, Major League Wrestling, and Stardom have come together to form a strategic partnership. Now, I'll start this off with one of you. I think it was UOM Dynamic who put this up. Or Best, was this you?
It was me. Yep.
Take us away.
Yeah, so MLW and Stardom are teaming up, and as you had said, they are announcing a strategic alliance between them. This happened just over the weekend. They announced via a press release that that MLW and World Wonder Ring Stardom are joining forces to collaborate, with the goal just to be to create new opportunities for athletes and to expand international reach. This is MLW totally trying to become a little bit more worldwide, as I would say with Stardom. But yeah, they're creating opportunities for athletes. They want to expand their international reach, deliver competing content to the fans worldwide. What I'm looking at this as is this is more or less because on MLW, we don't really see a whole lot of women's wrestling there. And I kind of think that this partnership, it doesn't just benefit MLW, it does benefit Stardom as well. But I think we're going to see more female competitors on MLW, and I'm all for that partnership. And I think on Stardom's side, this is going to help. They're going to help MLW in reaching that international market, maybe doing events over in Japan and whatnot. Maybe that's the partnership we're looking at. I'm just very excited and elated to see this partnership take place.
I am intrigued by this. I mean, you touched on it. We don't see a lot of women's wrestling in MLW, but we know that MLW is strictly women's wrestling in Japan. So does this mean we're going to maybe start seeing a men's match or two added to their cards if MLW goes over to Japan? We have seen how well these strategic partnerships do work. And I mean, you look at AEW and CMLL and New Japan Pro. You look at the NXT-NA partnership. These are fantastic. I love seeing how these go. I would like to see MLW get even a little more exposure. We know that they do some work with Game Changer Wrestling as well in the States. But I'd like to see them get that international exposure. We know some of the names that have worked for them and are currently working for them. And it's absolutely huge and immense. And it's a wonder why they have such a hard time really getting the exposure that they deserve.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to now allow Major League Wrestling to be broadcasted over 60 countries worldwide. And what I think this is pretty cool about, I have a feeling this is more to help bolster the MLW product and make this featured more on a global scale. I think this is allowing anybody from Stardom who is thinking about maybe moving over to North America or doing more stuff there, but also allowing any and all female wrestlers from MLW to go over to Stardom as well. We've seen a lot of lists, whether it's, we talk about Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Asuka, and they completely just move their life over to North America, and that takes a toll. We talked about that earlier on. This allows the women of Stardom to maybe come and do the odd trip to North America and not have to move. So I think this gives them that freedom to go outside of Japan, but also stay within the boundaries of Japan where they may not want to completely commit and leave.
Would this be a scenario?
I'm glad you touched on that, Parrish, because we know in Japan, especially when it comes to New Japan and All Japan, they send their wrestlers on excursions to any North American company, not just North America, but European countries as well, to just get that better seasoning. And maybe that's where Stardom's going to benefit on their side of the partnership, is by sending their women over to MLW to work with the women in MLW to have matches there, or not just that, but even to have their own matches on an MLW card over here, so that those women can get that exposure on this side of the planet as well.
Mhm. I'm going to ask this one. And does this allow Stardom to maybe do something like New Japan Pro did and open their own dojo in North America? We know that New Japan Pro did open the Strong Dojo in Los Angeles. Is this something that Stardom is looking at as well? Train new female wrestlers in the art of Japanese strong style.
Well, Stardom does have a partnership with New Japan, so they might just use their wrestlers at their female wrestlers, their Joshi, that's what they call them, to train at the North American dojos here.
Yeah, I was going to ask, isn't Stardom owned by Bushiroad and they're a parent company to New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Yep.
So
Yes.
that means I would assume with New Japan Pro Wrestling having the ties to CMLL, there's some ties to Stardom. This could almost really have some insane talent crossovers, because if you're making this partnership, and in a weird way, you have connections from MLW that go to Stardom, that goes to CMLL, to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. This could be an absolute game changer in the way of, if you don't want to go to a WWE or an AEW, this could validate that third huge option now.
Yeah.
In pro wrestling.
Yeah, with the way pro wrestling is going, AEW and WWE are not really the be all end all.
Not at all.
I kind of look at that like, if you're a female wrestler and you get signed by Stardom, now you don't just get to work with Stardom. Now you get to work with MLW. Now you get to work with CMLL. You maybe will appear on a New Japan show. That's what I like about the world of wrestling we're going into now, is all of these partnerships that are being formed. Because if you look at it like 20 years ago, if we said all these partnerships were going to happen, we would have laughed at that.
Yeah, we absolutely would have. And I mean, like I said, I mean, even with the NXT NA thing, that's a huge avenue for both men. And I know that really WWE has benefited from it by being able to sign multiple talent from TNA. But you're getting that exposure and you're getting more TV time. And I wonder, are there going to be other groups? Because we do know that Stardom, New Japan Pro, and there's a whole group of Japanese companies that fall now under United Japan Pro Wrestling and that umbrella. I believe there's 9 or 10 different companies in that, including New Japan and All Japan.
Yeah.
So it's very, very intriguing.
And let's not also discount the working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW.
Yeah.
Tony Khan is a huge supporter of Japanese wrestling, is a huge contributor to Japanese female wrestling. If by chance they have any sort of a pull into this at all, I don't discount the option that we're going to see more crossover into AEW, and at least those one-offs, as Tony Khan is very well open to it as well.
Right. Well, and I mean, we do have that strategic partnership between WWE and Pro Wrestling Noah.
And I do want to touch on this. I know before Julia left, wasn't there not something with her and Stardom and the Marigold?
she left Stardom for Marigold because she backed.
Okay,
Rocky.
so what that was
Yeah, go ahead, Best.
Okay, I'm going to elaborate deeper on that one because Rossi Ogawa co-owned Stardom with another gentleman whose name escapes my mind right now. But what happened was that partnership dissolved, and Rossi Ogawa ended up forming Marigold, and he brought Julia and a few others who once wrestled with Stardom over to that promotion.
Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate that because I kind of forgot about that clarification on that aspect. So I almost then would almost assume this is more going to not even have any WWE ties to it if there is a Stardom alliance going, because of the fact Stardom and Marigold are probably rivals at this point. And Marigold and WWE have a relationship.
Yeah.
I was just going to say Rossi Ogawa's got a great relationship with the WWE right now. So
yeah.
And I know it's something that we discussed a little while back here on the show. CMLL, I believe New Japan and Major League Wrestling have a joint venture show coming up fairly soon.
Yeah, it's a crazy time to be a pro wrestling fan. And I think that is definitely something that I don't know, like with all these partnerships coming in, and they call it a strategic partnership. And I wonder if it's said that in a way of, because of it's not just MLW and Stardom, we could see CMLL, we could see New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's other dominoes that could fall. We always find out months, weeks later that there's other dominoes that could go as well. So very interesting to see not just what this is going to provide you as a wrestling fan, but what it will do further, creating an impact on the wrestling world. So I'm very intrigued. Do you guys have any last or final remarks about this topic?
Just that I'm very excited about this partnership, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Awesome. I'm Dynamic.
I'm good.
Awesome. Well, we're getting to that point where we got one final ad to give you. And we want to let everybody know that we also like to make an impact on the wrestling content creating atmosphere by delivering content to you 7 days a week. And if you don't believe me, check this out.
TurnBuckle Studios and the TurnBuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday night, we are on call as the Raw Patrol is on duty at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, TurnBuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday, we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursdays, we roam the jungle with the Boar's Nest at 9 p.m. Friday, we invite you to come for a ride with the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later in the day, the Locker Room presents Wrestling Recap delivers at 7 p.m. Always be aware that weekend shows can vary in times, as the PLE Patrol and other watch party streams are always a must-see. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day, and watch all of the latest episodes on turnbucklestudios.org/shows. And please do not forget to drop a like, follow, and to subscribe to all of our channels, and when the time is right, all you have to do is tap in.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is something for you each and every night of the week at turnbucklestudios.org, your home for the TurnBuckle Affiliation Program. And we want you to meet the team behind those shows: Chris Best, Chris Parrish, myself, Bubba Duke, Logan Thompson, and Carl Carafel. Get all of our socials by clicking on our individual links, and also watch our latest weekly live episodic shows. All of that and more at turnbucklestudios.org.
And this not only brings us to our final topic, but it is our showstopper segment.
On his feet. Oh my God in heaven!
And that is the beautiful and most beloved Rusev and Gangrel, who have come together to bring to you a pro wrestling academy called KECH. That's right, KECH, KECH. And this will be a school located in Nashville, Tennessee, and it is going to bring you the beautiful minds of these two. And for everyone who needs to know, Gangrel is the one who trained Rusev, and that is why it's these two men coming together. For more information about this, OM Dynamic, what are your opinions about KECH Pro Wrestling Academy?
I'm very intrigued to see what they can do, because we know how influential a figure Gangrel has been over the last really 25 years, if not even more, 30 years. And that was, when he got his big break 30 years ago as member of the Brood. The fact that he has trained countless people before through various schools, now opening this one with, I guess, maybe his top ever pupil in Rusev, it's going to be very, very intriguing. And we see all of these legends giving back and starting to train that next generation and the guys that are going to run the business for the next 20 years.
Yeah, this one kind of surprised me because before, like, I'm just learning that Gangrel trained Rusev. So when I saw that partnership and when I saw the news there, I'm like, Gangrel and Rusev, what a strange partnership that is. But it now makes sense that Gangrel was the one who trained him. And yeah, Gangrel's been a part of the business for actually closer to 40 years in the business. He's been around the block a little bit. So if anybody in the Nashville area wants to go and learn wrestling, Gangrel is definitely the dude you want to go to, especially when it comes to character building. I mean, he took what was essentially a third-party character in the character of Gangrel. Gangrel was originally a comic book character. He took that character and made it his own. So this is something that Gangrel can easily teach you to do. And let's face it, to me, he was very underrated in the ring and always put on entertaining matches. So he knows the ring psychology. He knows how to tell the stories, and so does Rusev. So these are the two guys. If you're in the Nashville area, go and learn from these guys if you want to become a wrestler, for sure.
Yes, we know that Rusev makes his home in Nashville. I'm not sure if Gangrel does or not. But you think of the history that Nashville has with wrestling. Drew McIntyre is another guy who makes his home there. So do you bring him in for a promo class? Do you bring him in again for a, hard hitters class or a big guy class? Because Nashville is so steeped in the wrestling tradition.
Well, see, I think if you're going to bring in a big guy, what's today's date? May 19th. Who is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee?
Touche.
Kane. Bring him in for the big guy training. Parrish, what are your thoughts on all of this, though?
Well, first, Kane is not the mayor. Glenn Jacobs is. Just... Kane, if he was a mayor, would be a dangerous one. But nonetheless, Gangrel and Rusev coming together is might just be one of the most odd pairings. But yeah, isn't that what wrestling is odd pairings usually come together and form the best team possible? And not only am I someone who has been in the ring with Gangrel, I've been able to just learn a lot from him over time in my past, but I know he is a well-knowledge man in this business. He has a very creative mind, and he is a very intriguing character. We all saw how he was able to take that Gangrel character, as you mentioned, to a completely different just level. He was able to give you an introduction to a Christian and to an Edge, and it was almost just intriguing. The Brood might have been in any other era one of the biggest acts in pro wrestling, but because it happened in the Attitude Era, it just was under, your DX and your Nation of Dominations and all that stuff. Like it just wasn't to that level, but it really impact. And then you see Rusev, who is one of the most knowledge but most patient men in wrestling. We know how great he was becoming. He rode in on WrestleMania as a tank to face John Cena at WrestleMania. He also gets let go, goes to AEW, leaves and goes back to WWE. He's been around the block. He has studied the game. He's understood. He's a product of Dusty Rhodes, and we know that he is a fountain of knowledge as well. So the fact that these two are coming together to give you an opportunity to learn just every little thing about pro wrestling, you can't ask for two men with completely different in-ring styles and two different ways of thought that mesh so beautifully that you're a fool if you do not go to this school.
Yeah, this is I really cannot wait to see the level of talent that they are going to bring out of this class. And there's a part of me that hopes that they do what somebody like a Dustin Rhodes is doing, where Dustin is actually showcasing the future talent from RWA, his school. He showcases the future talent on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would like to see Gangrel and Rusev do the same thing.
Well,
Matter
and
of fact, I think I'd be okay with all the schools out there doing that.
right. And I was going to suggest something similar. Could we see that because of Rusev's availability with WWE? Could we see KECH work with Reality of Wrestling?
Well, see, that's another thing too, because Rusev does have that in, and that's again Booker T has that in, and that's how Roxanne Perez ended up where she is right now.
Yeah.
Um, I fully can expect that. Parrish, you look like you had something to say.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that, and then you also look at the WWE ID program, and we know that there are facilities that just help with just bringing in, whether it's NIL people, whether it's people wanting to get into wrestling. If there's more of the Trick Williams in the world, or if there's more of even the Kendall Grays out there, we all know that everyone has their star pupil. Booker T with Roxanne Perez. Like, we all know. One thing too is I believe Rusev did state on Chris Van Vliet's that this school is going to start people as early as the age of 16. And then he believes in the safe way of educating, whether or not you're an adult or not. He loves what pro wrestling brings to you as a human being. He understands the difference of that. And I think that is also the really cool thing, because you always hear about how martial arts always teaches children the art of patience, the art of respect and honor, that code. I think this is also going to show you the code of pro wrestling and how that could be used, especially when you've seen multiple superstars have a really hard childhood or a really hard upbringing, and it's pro wrestling that saved them and their life.
Yeah.
The perfect example of that is Ken Shamrock, who's talked about ad nauseum just how horrible his life was before he got into the world of pro wrestling, before he got into MMA.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's built himself a discipline out of it, as it were.
Right. You look at a guy like John Moxley, who had a very hard life in Cincinnati growing up. And we've all been there in the ring and working for different independent companies. And it's one of the reasons why, like, we've always thought that, a pro wrestling school would do good here, because again, it gives a way to get kids off the streets, teaches them something. And it allows you to maybe work with somebody you wouldn't normally get along with and learn how to respect them, even though you might not like
them. And just to give a little bit more background to the name KECH, spelled KECH, that is the Bulgarian term for pro wrestling.
Okay.
So, a little bit of background to the name. That is what I was checking out because I knew I had it in my notes, just didn't know where. But I thought that was really cool that there is even the background of Rusev, who is Bulgarian, and just having a part of his culture, a part of the school as well. And OM Dynamic, you did mention Gangrel about where he was. He's typically a Florida man, but I believe Rusev stated on the Chris Van Vliet insight he expects Gangrel to be a full-fledged Tennessean when the school, which is now open, by the way. So yeah, Nashville, Tennessee, that is where this is. And all I know is I think this is fantastic to see current WWE or even just anyone, like whether it's AEW, WWE, but current major superstars, as we see Rusev battling over the Intercontinental title in the current state of WWE. And now he's in a position to teach the next generation. We see just how important this was when, people like Shawn Michaels occasionally went in with his school, as we saw the likes of Brian Kendrick and Bryan Danielson come out. We also saw Booker T and, again, Roxanne Perez. And I know there was others as well. I just can't remember. And then we also know that a lot of people like William Regal helped train his son, who's now in the NXT, and Charlie Dempsey. And then we also know Cody Rhodes, who has his school, and Seth Rollins has his school, which brings you a Nathan Frazier.
Right.
So it'll be very intriguing to see just who is that breakout student coming out of KECH Pro Wrestling. And man, Nashville, Tennessee, what a market to be a part of, as you're just seeming to get everything nowadays.
Right. And I mean, you look at the independent companies and it is almost like the territory system. Because you've still got, now the Tennessee territory with this in Nashville, but I mean, then you go down to the Texas territory. I would not be surprised to see AJ Styles open a school in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he might be quite busy with his role now scouting. And then that's also the dangerous aspect, is you have one of the greatest performers of all time in AJ Styles, now with a God's eye over top of all of these wrestling schools and looking to see which one he is going to pluck to be a part of the WWE program. So that's just absolutely crazy of a reality. But
and again, that's where I think Rusev has the in, because Rusev can go up to AJ and be like, hey, come check out this guy we're training over here,
Yep.
And then even in another way too, we know that Gangrel and his relationship with a Christian Cage, Adam Copeland of AEW.
Yep.
If the opportunity isn't there in WWE, there's always that opportunity there for AEW. So these two men are just a phone call or a conversation away from helping you get another foot inside the door of a dream. So
and, I mean, let's not forget as well that Gangrel does have a relationship with the Hardys. So you've got TNA, you've got the NXT-TNA partnership as well. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. But I mean, we are getting to that time of the show. So do you guys have any final parting words about this story?
No, I think we've said it all.
I think we've covered all the bases on this.
Well, boys, this went by very quickly.
It did.
Four topics, but we absolutely crushed them all. See what I did there? Because Rusev crush. So before I go to any more dad jokes, please go to turnbucklestudios.org/host now and hit those buttons to follow our socials before you realize how silly we actually are of human beings. So yeah, if we don't have anything else, I am just going to let everybody know I'm going to raid out to someone on our Twitch side. So that's already done. So, I'm dynamic. Please take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, please remember the world is better with you in it. From all of us here at TurnBuckle Talk and the TurnBuckle Affiliation Program, to those of you out there wherever you are, good night, good luck, we out.
Flagship show setting the tone. In the world of wrestling we stand alone. With news and reviews we lead the way. Turnbuckle Talk every day. Turnbuckle Talk every day.